Right guys, welcome to the second part of our Tesla review. So part one, we looked at the Tesla purely as a car. So we tried to touch on the things that were most related to a regular car, and we thought we'd leave the tech to the second video. So if you do want to go back and you missed the one on the car, feel free to do that. But for this one, let's look at the Tesla as a computer rather than as a car. So the best place to do that is pulled over on the side of the road, because we won't be able to go through all the settings if we're driving. So firstly, we'll hit the name up in the top there and we'll choose our driver setting. So what you can do is you can create multiple drivers and set up their steering wheel position, their seat position, their mirror position, and then every time you jump in, you just select your driver setting, and I've just made a change and I can save that there. You select your driver setting and it will remember exactly the settings you set. So it's great if you've got multiple people driving the car, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, your long lost relative can come in and have it set up exactly how they want to drive. So the 15-inch touchscreen, you've got settings on the bottom that are most or very car normal. You got your volume control, your front and rear demisters, heated seats, and your air conditioning and temperature gauges. So you can even set the air conditioning to remain on when you leave the car. So naturally, that's going to affect your battery life. But if you were only going to be out of the car for a couple of minutes and it was a hot day, you can set the climate to on, and then there we've got climate will stay on after you leave the car. And obviously it was set to a very high fan speed, so that's what you just experienced there. But other than that, they're your regular car settings. Now over on this half of the touchscreen are your more Tesla settings, your computer settings. So firstly, if we hit this arrow, we'll see a few options come up. You've got your charging information, so we can see we've got 54% charge. You can set a limit as well, so if you only want the car to charge to 80% when you next plug it in, you can set that there. And what that'll do is, I think over the long term, that will preserve the overall battery life. But you've also got, next to charging, is energy. So you can kind of get some reporting and some statistics based on the way you've been driving. It'll tell you how much range it projects. It'll still get on this charge, and it'll also give you some information on your last 25 kilometers of driving, your last 50 kilometers, and your last 10. So there's plenty of little things you can play around with there. But now let's go into something even more strange. You've got the web. So we've connected to the hotspot of my phone, so it might take a second, but it's loading there, and you can browse the web. So you've pulled over and you want to have a break from driving, you can jump on and look at your favorite websites. Entertainment, now this one is great. You've got arcade and theatre. So arcade, you can play games, and you can play driving games where you use the steering wheel as the controls. Under theatre, you can watch YouTube, you can watch Netflix, and you can treat this as if it's your iPad or your laptop. And then you've got the toy box tab, which in itself seems a little bit strange, particularly when the top one is a feature called emissions. And you've got clearly here a whoopee cushion. Pressing that makes the car fart. So anyway, clicking this button here brings up your 3 cameras. So you got your rear vision camera and the 2 cameras under your rear view mirrors. So that'll help you with you know, blind spots and parking and different things like that. But funnily enough, in this, I'm not sure if it's a Model 3 thing or if it's a standard variant thing, but no bird's eye view, which is starting to become a little bit more common. We had it in the Mercedes A35 that we tested, and funnily enough, they're actually very similar priced, so around $70,000 to $80,000 on the road. So, you know, you're missing a camera there. Some people won't care, but you know, if you're spending that kind of money, I would have thought you'd get a bird's eye view camera as well. So next to the camera is all of your music and audio. So that's obviously very standard. You've got your radio, and then you can connect to your phone via Bluetooth. You can log in directly to your Spotify, so you don't even have to go through your phone's Spotify. There is the Spotify app straight in the car. There's a karaoke function, which we're not going to test out now, that's for sure. So that's all, I guess, very normal. You've got your maps, which you can zoom in and out of. Very detailed, so they're really good. I really like the way that the maps work, and it's all voice controlled. So you can hit the button on the right of the steering wheel and put in a command. Navigate to petrol station. It'll take a second and it'll bring up some of your closest petrol stations, and you can select one and it'll show you your route right there on the screen. So, and that works very well, very smooth, and I found it very seamless when I've used it over the last day or so. Now, the little car function in the side here opens up another range of settings and all kinds of technology that you wouldn't get on your normal car. So some of it's standard. You've got your lights, you can adjust your steering wheel and mirrors from inside here, whoops, and the brightness of the screen, so you can turn that up and down. Lights, locks, display, very, I guess, standard features. It's just obviously, instead of changing them with buttons on your steering wheel or buttons underneath your center screen, it's all done from the screen. But driving, you can set the acceleration to chill or standard. You can set the steering mode to comfort, standard or sport. And you can, under autopilot, select your autopilot settings. So what we'll do is, we've probably gone through enough tech, and this video, we've just been sitting stationary on the side of the road. So we're actually going to drive the car now, and we're going to put the autopilot feature to use. So we'll grab our key, we'll tap it there. We know that we're on, hardly, because it doesn't make any noise, and we'll put it in drive and go. Now, one thing to note with the autopilot feature is it does have to be a marked road, so the lanes have to be clear. But you'll know if autopilot is available, because on your screen here you'll see the little greyed out steering wheel. So the speed there is the speed limit of the road you're on. The grey steering wheel says that, hey, I know this road, I can see the markings, so you can go on autopilot, and then you've got your speed that you're actually travelling next to that. So once we get up to speed, to set your cruise control, the gear stick where you select reverse or drive, you just push that down, and you'll see there it's gone to 100, so that's the speed limit of this road. But what we'll do is we might just turn that down a little bit so we get a little bit less road noise, because it's a little bit windy today. So I'm just scrolling with this little scroll feature here on the steering wheel, and I'm taking it down. Let's take it down to 80. So that's what our cruise control setting is. That's what we're traveling. We've got the grey steering wheel, so we'll push it down again. Sometimes it needs another go. and it lights up blue, the lane lines go blue, and the car is going to steer itself. So you'll be able to see here when there's an oncoming car. So there's a car coming now, which we'll see there. All right, now it's lighting up blue. So it's saying you haven't touched the steering wheel in an allotted time. Put a little bit of pressure on so that the car knows you're still awake, you're still paying attention, because obviously there is legalities to this kind of thing and you can't just turn your car on and let it drive for you. But we've got a turn coming up here. It's asking me to apply some force to the wheel. All right, so we're on. We've got a turn coming up here, and let's see how the car takes it. And there we go. You could see in the little virtual display, we were quite centered in the lane. Obviously here there was no issues, there was no, it's a little bit frightening, a little bit unnerving, but all in all I have tested this out a little bit and it seems to work reasonably well. Now things like traffic lights and roundabouts, that's where you need to jump in, because as I said, because there are legalities to the amount of, I guess, autopilot you can put your car in. It won't steer itself through a roundabout or through a set of traffic lights. So we've just gone to a 60 speed limit zone and the car has realised that, moved our cruise control down to 60, dropped our speed quite quick. We're still on autopilot, but it did all that speed, I guess, speed awareness on its own. And we're just cruising along. So I think this is, put all the Netflix watching and game playing aside, we've got a car here that can drive itself. And if you've got the Tesla app and you sync this and this car is yours, you can sync it to the app. Obviously we couldn't do that because we don't have, this isn't our car. But once you've synced it to the app, there's even a feature called Summon. Now, exactly how it works, I'm not sure, but in theory, you can, it only works though on private roads. So like in a shopping centre car park, it's not gonna work on a big road. But in theory, you can activate Summon on your phone and your car will pull out of its parking spot and come to you. So unfortunately that was the one I really wanted to test, but we couldn't do that. The autopilot though is still crazy. So thanks for watching part 2 of our review of the Tesla Model 3. So this video was very different to our usual car reviews. We spent a lot of time parked on the side of the road looking at computers and looking at all kinds of tech. I learnt a lot, and definitely these cars are very different and very attractive to different kind of car buyers. So if you enjoyed our little 2-part series on the Tesla, give us a like and subscribe to the channel as well, and we'll see you in the next video.